So guys, it's been a while since we had a proper roadmap in War Thunder, of course, right? They said that they might actually do another one. So here are 5 things that I would include here. It's basically 4 and a +1 at the end of the video. But stuff that I really honestly think should be in the roadmap, okay? It should be important enough where Gaijin gives attention to, okay? So let's get going. So the first thing, and one of the most important ones that I would actually add, is something that it's very old to the game. Decompression of BRs. Yes, I still believe that they are moving into the right direction, okay? They are doing slowly but surely decompression of BRs. I think it's much better than what it was back in the day, you know, but still, I think we need a little bit more, right? I think it's kind of crazy that, for example, a Legacy Hornet and an Eurofighter are in the same BR, right? They clearly have different performances and they clearly are very different aircraft. And, you know, you see a lot of different aircraft in the terms of performance and capacity, right, of fighting in the same BR. And you see that throughout the BRs of the game, right? I gave you one example, but there are plenty in the game, right? So a little bit more BR decompression would be making the game a lot more healthy, right? For tanks as well, I think, especially in the top ranks, you see a very fast kind of progression that once you get from 10.0, it feels like you're always facing almost the top tier anyway, right? So for tanks as well, for aircraft, I mean, for ships, they are doing this right now. They did it in the last update. But in a general sense, it's not by much that we need, but I still believe we need a little bit more BR decompression, especially if indeed we are going to see 5th generation jets coming very soon. The second thing is something that I always talked about, but more so on air battles. But I still believe that in ground battles, we should see that, even in ship battles. But in a general sense, more diverse and engaging objectives beyond simple capture points, for example, or even a team deathmatch, basically, of sorts, right? So basically, we have these 2 types of battles in the game. Of course, there are still other ones, but in a general sense, it is a team deathmatch or it is a capture point kind of situation, right? Either if it's a ground battle or an air battle or even a ship battle, it's always these 2 types of battles that we see normally, right? So, of course, I always talked about these. I'm not going to prolong too much on this, but we need more objectives. We need more engaging things to do in the game. This will make the game a little bit more healthy and, of course, prolong the life of War Thunder if there is a lifetime or a service life of War Thunder that will end at some point, right, with the current path. So, I still believe that the games, they're not boring, but at the same time, they are just okay. I think we can improve on them, right? On the types of matches that we see. The maps are already improving by quite a lot, especially in air battles, but I think we need a little bit more of a step up on the terms of objectives. Talking about in aircraft like siege, bombing missions, precision striking, anti-ship. For ground, we can have a defense of, of a place. It doesn't need to be a flag, but for example, a city or a town or something like that, right? Or the invasion of that or the destruction of an objective like a structure or something. I don't know. There are many objectives that can be added, and yeah, it would make a lot of sense. Then the third one is better artificial intelligence for a game support role, basically, in a match, right? Going together with the second one, I think better AI would just help us have a better match, right? The AI right now is pretty weird and kind of very bad sometimes and amazing sometimes. It's just very weird. I think, honestly, we need better AI. We are getting to a point where AI is something that is pretty advanced, to be honest, right? So there's not really kind of an excuse of not having a properly good AI. Maybe Gaijin doesn't want to add an AI because nobody wants to die for an AI, right? But I'm not talking about, like something that can get you killed, but something that it's doing a support role, like, for example, bombers or tanks in general that are driving around, columns of vehicles, stuff like that, right? In a general sense, if we have more smarter AI, it doesn't need to be OP AI that has auto aim, right? I'm talking about more engaging situations, a little bit more like DCS, for example, a little bit, right? But at the same time, it doesn't need to be that much. But still, I think better AI would help with the previous objective of better engaging objectives, right? The fourth one is basically, I think, if I would do a roadmap, I would basically have more feedbacks from the devs, right? More Q&As, more answers, and more ways to engage the community with the devs, right? So, especially on what they are planning for the future. I still believe the community sometimes can help a lot the devs deciding what path to go into the future, right? Which means normally that, I mean, sometimes they need to do something that the community won't like anyway, but in a general sense, like 90% of the time, responding questions, knowing where the game is going, really does help, on the very least, for the community to kind of understand what the future holds and hop on board or complain a little bit about it and basically make a word for it that we need changes, right? So in a general sense, more feedback is needed, I think. It's a lot better than what it was back in the day, I think, especially on the forums and stuff, but I noticed that lately they took it down a little bit more. Like, they don't have a lot of Q&As anymore. A lot of the official stuff isn't really like as big as it was sometimes. We do have like a community manager thing now that I like very much, but we need more of these, right? Especially in these times where nothing is happening, right? Imagine people are complaining about a bug or about a mechanic that it's not really working right now, for example. But the next patch is only on late August to September, right? So it is a long time away, like almost 2 months away, probably for a release of the patches even more, right? So it would be healthy for us to understand this mechanic that not a lot of people is liking. Maybe they are working on something, right? So we can chill about it, right? So stuff like that, I think it would help the community, it would help the game. And the last thing is more of a general idea. It's kind of a bonus thing over here, guys. But I always talked about this for couple of years now, but I honestly think in a roadmap they need to have kind of a bigger goal over here, a bigger picture to look into. And I think the bigger picture we need in War Thunder is a general idea that the game should be less focused on grind and more about the matches themselves. Because what I feel like playing, this is a personal feeling when I play the game, is that the matches are not really like the gameplay itself. It's good, but it's not sometimes the main focus of the game. What is the main focus is actually getting new vehicles to play in that gameplay, right? So the vehicle itself, the grind, basically, is kind of the focus of the game. I understand that as an economic kind of situation for a free-to-play game, that would make sense, right? But at the same time, I have a feeling that if we had, again, a more focused on the matches themselves, on the playability, replayability of them, especially with more engaging objectives, with a better AI, more decompression of VR, stuff like that we have talked about, I think people would spend more time playing the game, not caring too much about the grind and spending more money on the game itself. So eventually, it's just better for Gaijin itself. I think this is my personal opinion. I think it should be kind of a general idea that they follow, right? But of course, I don't participate on the decision making, but that's why I'm doing this video, right? To try to bring light to these 5 things that I think need to have light on, right? But basically, this is it, guys. Let me know in the comments what is your 5 kind of ideas that would be in a roadmap or something. If they add one, another one. So yeah, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Thank you all the members and patrons, and bye, guys. See ya.